right, welcome back. By a show of hands, who here has ever walked through their library and come across something that has completely transformed their perspective or their life? We know that knowledge is power. I've personally come across a number of materials in my life at the local library and in books and in information materials that have really transformed my life. Joining us, our next speakers have been working with the State Library and the Drug Info Centre for 14 years. They help the communities bring drug info out into the community and help people serve themselves, and they're here today to help you serve the communities that you also serve. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Michael Adams.
Hello everyone, thanks to Gail and the team for having us. It's a really exciting time for the CDAT program, and we at the library hope to be a part of that, so we're really happy to be here today. But since I do have the stage, I just wanted to start with a bit of venting about a personal frustration of mine from being a librarian and working in libraries, and that is the stereotype about libraries that no matter what we do, we just can't seem to break. So some of you who maybe haven't been to a library for a while, if you close your eyes and think about what you think about, when you think of a librarian, it's something along these lines. And I'm just going to say I've been a librarian for 10 years. That's one more shush than I've ever ushered in my entire library career. Hey, I was at a kid's birthday party just yesterday, and any of you who have kids and have been to these awkward affairs will know the process of standing around, strained small talk, having the same conversation 7 to 8 times before the 2 hours is up and you get to leave. It's a great feeling when that happens. But over the course of that 2 hours yesterday, on multiple occasions, I found myself having the same conversation of like, oh, you're a librarian, you must love books. And I say, well, you know, books are okay. They've got nothing to do with my job. So no matter what we do, we just can't escape the stereotype of a stern, conservatively dressed, bookish nerd. And in my case, only a couple of those things are true. So it's really frustrating. And one of the really frustrating things about it is it's certainly not true of public libraries now. And I would argue it probably never has been true, certainly in the case of public libraries. If we consider this particular bookish, conservatively dressed stern librarian here, she's actually administering a mobile library service at Lake Macquarie in the 1950s. It wasn't just Lake Macquarie. All over the state you were seeing variations of this, community programs, and this is something that continues to this day. All across the state, mobile libraries servicing regional communities, communities with people of disadvantaged background, multicultural communities, and whoever else will benefit from such a service. And I think mobile libraries are a great example of what public libraries do. Our reach extends far beyond library walls, and what we offer extends far beyond the basic provision of books and other information needs. If you go to any public library, you'll see a diverse range of programs and events catering for all segments of the community. There are libraries running elaborate escape rooms for Youth Week, and just insane creativity is on display among children's librarians every day. There's in-library mentorship programs between high school and primary school kids, as well as the regular storytime activities for babies and preschoolers. There's all manner of initiatives for seniors, from casual meetups and conversation groups through to various workshops, training in different types of technology, programs for sufferers of dementia, and a lot more really valuable community programs for seniors. Multicultural services are there to meet the needs of the many communities from around the world who have made a home here. This ranges from providing books in over 50 languages across the state. There are cultural exhibitions and displays, and most public libraries will have a multicultural team that is constantly going above and beyond to look after the specific needs of their community and create a very vibrant library space. There are activities run by and for Aboriginal communities in New South Wales. We've got NAIDOC Week coming up, and in any public library you'll go to, you'll see all manner of displays and events and a lot of activity around that. And you need to look no further than what public libraries managed to do in 2020 and 2021. Facing lockdowns, a reduced ability to provide in-library programming, almost as soon as the doors shut, library staff got to work, moving story times online, setting up click and collects, delivering books across their library communities, even scheduling in wellbeing calls to library members across the community. And these are just a few examples that demonstrate what a unique and important role public libraries play in the community. But when you think about it, public libraries, it's a free public space. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need a justification to be there. It's just a place that is open, accessible to all, free of judgment or discrimination. It's a very rare thing in society. There aren't too many examples of places like that. So for these reasons, around 20 years ago, public libraries were the obvious solution when the New South Wales Ministry of Health partnered with the State Library of New South Wales to provide access to free, accurate and up-to-date information about alcohol and other drugs to the people of New South Wales. So given all that I've just talked about, there's no better place to make this information available than in public libraries. So what is this information that's available? So firstly, it's the drug info collection of books and pamphlets from New South Wales Health that are available at every New South Wales public library service and displayed together as the drug info collection. Then there's the drug info website. So this features information on a range of different drugs. It has links to helplines, website, other support services, regular news items relating to alcohol and other drugs, information for various community groups, school resources, and much more. And this website is frequently updated by the drug info team at the State Library. But it's all well and good to have all this great information available, but that alone isn't enough. So one of the things we do in the drug info team is we go out to public libraries to put on a training workshop to help public library staff know about the collection and about the ways that they can help their communities. And in these workshops, I always ask the question, have you ever been at your library, at your service desk, and have someone come up to you and ask a question about drugs and alcohol? You know, I want to know more about heroin, or I'm trying to cut down on drinking, can you help me? And invariably the answer is no. It's not necessarily something that people are asking about very often, but that doesn't mean that the information need isn't there. So one of the really important things we do in drug info is the promotion of the drug info service, so that anyone walking into a public library knows that they have access to that information. So I'm just going to talk about a few of the programs we offer to public libraries to deliver to their communities, and some of the ways that we can put that all together with the CDAT program and hopefully work together to do some really good things. So for the past few years, so this is just a basic example of some of the fun that you can have in public libraries. And over the past few years, the main thing that we've sent out is the Drug and Alcohol Info Hub. So you can see it here. So it's some display panels that goes out to public libraries along with some activity kits, and we asked libraries to put on a couple of activities when they're hosting the hub. This has been really popular since it's been running, so it goes out to public libraries on a rotational basis via expression of interest, and it is a challenge logistically for us to keep the wheels running and make sure it goes from library to library. But it's been an astounding success. It's probably getting to the end of its natural life cycle. I think every now and then you need to mix things up and send out something different. And what we also noticed was that more and more libraries were showing great initiative and really getting out there into their communities. So we were seeing libraries hosting the hub and doing activities at schools and taking information to community fairs and stalls and all manner of activities otherwise. So we wanted to reward those libraries by making something a bit more mobile, something that could be pulled up and put down and taken out of the library. And so this is what we've been working on. So the drug and alcohol info pop-up. So it's a lot more mobile. Again, it's designed to be able to be taken out into the community. It has the added advantage of being a bit smaller as well, which means that libraries that have typically been, a bit nervous about getting involved, now they have something that isn't onerous. It's not something that they're, going to be worried about not being able to deliver. It's just something very simple. And along with the drug and alcohol info pop-up is this drug fact finder, which you're seeing on the screen here. So this is an interactive tablet display that is the centerpiece of the drug and alcohol info pop-up. And as you can see, it's got some really striking visuals, some quiz questions, facts about drugs and alcohol, links back to the drug info website. And the idea again is to have something that stands out in the library. And the other really big advantage to it is that libraries don't have to wait until they're hosting the pop-up. Every library has iPads and iPad stands, so this can be set up at any time and displayed with the drug info collection and some of our promotional resources. And we're about to roll it out to public libraries, and we're anticipating a similar success with it. I mentioned some of the activities that we offer to public libraries, and a key part of our training workshop is to perform a Know Your Standards program with public library staff, which is based around standard drinks and knowing how much is in your pour. And it's always a lot of fun. We get library staff to pour out measures of water to what they think a standard drink is of different types of alcohol. We do this towards the end of a 3.5-hour training workshop. Everyone gets up on their feet and we have a lot of fun doing it. People can try on the beer goggles and try to, throw balls and so forth. So it's a lot of fun. But at the end of this demonstration, I always say, well, it's not just about fun. Now you know how to go out and do that. And you can now do that to your communities when you're hosting the Drug and Alcohol Info Hub or the new pop-up, or anytime there's a natural tie-in with your regular library programming. This is something that you can now deliver. So that is kind of what we do, is to try to give public libraries the skills and resources to be able to deliver positive messaging about alcohol and other drugs. Is that gone through to the next one? So our literary mocktails are along the same line. So these have been really popular for a number of years. You can see these great designs here, and I can say great designs because we didn't do them. They were done by our wonderfully talented design team at the State Library. Some really great recipes. One of the fun parts of our job is to come up with these recipes and the names. You can see they've all got book names, so a sidecar named Desire, Grape Expectations, etc. And you can see it forms a natural tie-in for libraries, and it also inspires libraries to take that baton and run with it. And so we see libraries coming up with their own mocktail recipes. I used to work at a public library where for Library Lovers Week, they decided to create a library lover's mocktail that was, based around these, but it was a completely new recipe. So there are quite a few things you can do with the mocktails. They're really colourful and fun, and libraries, really enjoy incorporating them into their library activities. So as a result of this, as a result of some of the resources we've provided, combined with the ingenuity and creativity of public libraries, we're seeing some really amazing activities. We love when libraries get creative and think of ways to extend on our resources and our programs and do something that has a real impact. So here are a couple of examples here. I mentioned the mocktails. These can be incorporated at any library event. So when there's an author talk, serve mocktails. You can change the name to be about the author, the book that the author's promoting, or it might be something that ties in with your local community. But there are a range of serving mocktails that deliver an effective message that is kind of an incidental message. People are attending the library, they want to hear a talk by, the author who's come to town. They're going to have a nice mocktail and take away some of the recipe cards, and suddenly you've delivered something without, going out of your way to. In the bottom corner there, you can see a mocktail bar. This was part of Burwood Library's Youth Week event. So they set up a mocktail bar. It was called Burwood Bar and Beats. And again, secondary school children were there. They were there for a free drink and some cool music. And, they got that. And incidentally, it's in their heads that, there's a good message here. At the bottom there, Goulburn Ladies Night. So it was around International Women's Day, and at Goulburn Library they were having an International Women's Day event, Ladies Night In, where they served food and had craft activities, and it was like kind of an after library hours celebration for women. They were hosting the hub at the time, so they could just set up the hub with a Know Your Standards display, and everyone's just having a fun time, but now they're getting like a nice little fun activity that has a good message as well. And one of my favourites, I think, says how easily public libraries can do something really effective, and that is that QR code you could see. That was set up at Gordon Library, and it was around HSC time. So the library staff created this online drug and alcohol info quiz that was accessible via QR code. That was set up at every study table in the library. And you think about school kids studying for their HSC, they're going to be looking for any opportunity to procrastinate they can possibly get. Suddenly one is right there on their study table, and they learn something new about drugs and alcohol. And Gordon Library made a prize that anyone who completed the quiz and brought evidence of that to the desk, showed staff their finished quiz, they got a drug info show bag. And in 1 month of doing that, they received 50 completed entries and handed out 40 show bags. And I think for HSC kids, that's like an outstanding result in just a month. And these aren't our ideas that we gave to them. This is what public libraries can do. So one of the things I've been doing over the last few months is to put together this activity booklet. So this is a 23-page book that will give public libraries some ideas on ways to incorporate drug and alcohol information into their public library programming. And most of the best ideas have come straight from public libraries. So we really like working together to highlight what libraries can do. And something that's a real focus for us at the moment is to connect CDATs and public libraries. I think there's so much mutual benefit in doing so, and a lot of the times it's just one organisation isn't aware of the other. So that's a focus for us, and any opportunity we have to strengthen that relationship, we would love to take. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of ways that we can work on doing that. Firstly is the drug info contact. So we ask each public library service in New South Wales to appoint a drug info contact, and that is the primary person to liaise with on any matters relating to drug info. So we've got that list that we can provide to CDATs to know who it is in your area that you need to speak to. And similarly, on the other side of things, we will do the same thing for public library staff. So we will let our drug info contact know who their local CDAT representatives are, and to make sure the CDAT is kept in the loop. And, you know, if a public library's hosting the drug and alcohol info pop-up, the CDAT should be informed of that, and hopefully there's something the two groups can do together. So the goal is to get CDATs and public libraries working together on programs. In the first instance, it could be as simple as a CDAT knowing that there's a meeting space at the public library, or there's a community notice board, or another means of spreading the CDAT message. So at the first instance, if we can get CDATs aware of public libraries in that sense, then hopefully we can go from there. And public libraries are really excited to work with like-minded groups on delivering some important messaging. And so the last thing is that we can offer, CDATs in particular, is our promotional material. So with the standard drinks program, some of those resources you saw, we loan those out to public libraries. So what we'd ask for from a CDAT perspective is to work with your public library, get the public library to loan the kit, and then you can work together on an event. But what is available to all is our promotional material. So we've got a range of promotional resources, and I'm very excited to just mention our latest one. So I'm sure some of you will have noticed a lot more questions about vaping recently. We've certainly found in our training workshops that library staff were asking a lot of questions about vaping. And so we were so thrilled earlier this year when New South Wales Health launched the Facts About Vaping campaign, because it meant we had access to all this great information that we could then pass on to public libraries. And so working with New South Wales Health, we've now got this new postcard that's based on the campaign resources as part of the campaign toolkit. These are available to order, and I've also brought some samples, so I'll leave them at the desk, and anyone who wants some, they're available at the end. So as I said, our promotional material can be ordered by anyone. So in addition to providing material to public libraries, we provide to schools, to LHDs, other health organisations. Very easy to find on the Drug Info website. You can see how to do it there. So at the bottom of each page, we've got a Public Library Services button where you will see our promotions and partnerships page, and the promotional material is available to order from there. And I'm sorry to put her on the spot, but I had a fantastic conversation with Chloe just before. Chloe's someone I've been liaising with about providing some of our promotional resources and talking about the ways of working together with public libraries. And are you happy to provide a testimonial, Chloe?
So those that don't know me, I am the CDO for Southern New South Wales, and I'm employed by Carolika. I've ordered drug info products online, and absolutely amazing, the quality of the products that come through. But by doing so, Michael actually noticed that I'd put CDAT and reached out to me to say, hey, let's work together. I spoke to Michael and ended up getting a list of all the public library contacts in my region, and was actually able to host an event at Queanbeyan Library where I did a networking event to start the new CDAT there. So Michael and, is it Penelope? Sorry.
Philippa.
Sorry, Philippa. Absolutely amazing. So if you do want to work with your public libraries, and especially the drug info, I highly recommend reaching out to both of them for all of that. You definitely won't be disappointed.
Thank you, Chloe. And we would love to make that happen for everyone else here that we could. So please get in contact with us. But it's one of our main things is to make it make the programming fun, because public library programming is fun and it's important, and we see what we do in drug info as just a really natural fit with the rest of public library programming. So we would love to work more closely together with the CDATs and connect you to public libraries in New South Wales. Philippa, did you have anything to add to that?
Hi, just for the community development officers to get in contact with us, and then we can put you in contact with libraries, because in your regions there are many, many councils, and every council has a different drug info contact. So we're really good at facilitating that, and then there's opportunities for you to promote and sign up for people to become part of the CDAT. Many people who work in libraries or councils, they also are a member of the CDAT. So it's great to even remind people who are from a local council, think about having things in the library, because sometimes even the councils don't join the dots on that as well. And then if you're having any events, libraries might be able to promote them through social media for their own communities. So libraries are really committed to serving their communities. So, if you've got a great, Facebook presence or social media, libraries could then share that information as well with their communities if they're able to. So, thank you. And thank you, Mark.
And we do have a couple of minutes for questions if there are any. But
will that resource with all the drug information be available for other people to use or other services? Like, is that an app or a website, or is it on the website?
So the drug fact finder, do you mean that? So that is just a library display. But our website, which is where all that information came from, that's just a publicly accessible website. Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Thank you so much, Philippa. Thank you so much, Michael. The biggest takeaway for that for me was the scene with the mocktails in the library. All it takes often is just one little hook to get a teenager engaged in the right direction, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. And I'll just put it out to the audience as well. What was the biggest takeaway in that presentation for you? I heard resources, the vaping info. Yes, absolutely love it. That's one of the first things that my mind went to. Love to have a chat about this. Yep.
Could I just say that tonight at 8:30 ABC TV has in four corners a vaping on?
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Perfect timing. Fantastic. I'd love to bring our wonderful team up on stage to present our gifts, the official CDAT thank yous, and there are actually the main piece of...
There better be a bucket hat.
There is the bucket hat in here. Absolutely.
Promo ID.
Yep.
Philippa, you too?
Surely. Yeah. If you'd like to just come into the middle.
Nick, get in.
Yeah, of course.